Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between Somedumbguy as our Africa Corps, and his opponent today is going to be RoyalHants as our British. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It's just pants, but with an H. So normally this is the part where I would talk about the map, but I am going to start by talking about the aspect ratio that I'm sure most of you noticed immediately. At least my longtime viewers will notice. So, I have decided to try a different aspect ratio because I get a lot of feedback that folks don't like the widescreen. So if you, I'd love to hear from anybody and everybody that says, "Heck, I really like this new screen resolution. Please keep doing that." Or if you hate it, or if you loved the widescreen, let me know your thoughts, especially if you're a subscriber of mine. Because I will keep doing that widescreen if you were loving it. And if you don't care, then that's fine too. So the map today is going to be Twin Beaches. I really like this map. I know I say that about every map, every game, but I think this is an awesome map. I love how asymmetrical it is. Lots of fuel on this bottom side, lots of munitions on this top side. A fuel point right in the middle to lead to lots of fighting, and the fuel point's on top of a hill. These cutoff points are rather far forward, sort of easy to take away from your opponent. Yeah, leads to some really interesting games. So we'll see what our players have in store for us. Somedumbguy has locked in the Italian combined arms with Bursas on the field. Bersaglieri. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Means sharpshooter in Italian, so you may hear me call them sharpshooters. Bursas are pretty cool, highly mobile, right? You've got this, I think it's called marching. Quickly check. Oh, we got a fight breaking out. We'll come back to that in just a minute. First fight of the game, long range up here between some infantry sections and these Bursas. Bike coming to help out. German players taking away that cutoff point. Actually, I have cast probably a dozen games on this map, just the ones that made it to YouTube, and I don't think I've ever seen a player go for that cutoff this early in the game. Those top cutoff points are a little bit different. The weird thing about this cutoff point is it's really far forward to let your opponent try and take it from you, but it is also kind of close to the fuel point, right? So if you're fighting over the fuel point, you're going to be fighting over the cutoff point. I don't know. It's just kind of a little bit of a strange cutoff point, if you ask me. Versus squad running into these Royal Engineers. Royal Engineers trying to close that gap. Get some damage done. I did see our British player building some mines a second ago. Doesn't look like he finished them, though. Versus, again, keeping their spacing here, right? You do not want to be up against those Royal Engineers. They will totally wreck your day. Motorbike continuing to shadow these Bursa squads around. Helping them out. Giving them that combined arms bonus, right? That 10% accuracy, 15% speed, harder to hit. It's just such a great buff. Dingo Light Scout vehicle on the field here. Gonna help drive away those Panzer Pioneers. So our German player going for a fairly standard path through this tree. I suspect we're going to see him pick up the Model 30 light machine guns next. Very good upgrade, and of course having 6 squad members per squad is also very good. I do hope we see him go for... Oh man, I'm going to try it. Semovente. Hopefully you can tell me if I was close or not, but that just means self-propelled. So it's a self-propelled assault gun, and it got some buffs last patch on the 29th of April, and hoping we see it. Looks like the Dingo might go down here. Bike closing the distance. Ursa's taking big damage on the chase here. Are going to pick that unit up. Infantry section probably cannot pick up those Bursas on their way out. So Bursa's also saw a change. They got a their veterancy levels, the amount of XP required for each level was increased substantially. The developer's reasoning was that this squad, while it's an elite squad and it should eventually outscale mainline infantry, it was doing that a little too fast. So they slowed it down by making those veterancies a little bit harder to attain. German player all over this cutoff point once again. Cool to see him continuing to do that. Versus holding down this cutoff point, denying his opponent fuel. It looks like he did also deny him that victory point on the bottom side for at least a little bit there. And infantry section coming up to help take back this point, but unfortunately for him, German is getting aggressive. Love to see this from our British player. He has locked in the air and sea battle group. I think this is this battle group saw a couple changes. The big one that only affected this battle group is that the commando squads can plant. They can plant the hidden demolition charge. Now that's only the regular commando section paradrop. That is not the support section. Support section is very popular right now. I see a lot of people go for this. I think folks like it because it is a little bit cheaper in terms of manpower, and it comes with those heavy machine guns right out of the gate. I have been playing a lot with this commando section and using those hidden demolition charges, and boy, I have been having a good time with that. Something else that changed about this group is their pack gun, which we are not going to see this game because of how popular the command support section is. I have been really enjoying the pack. I know it's a little bit of a meme, but it did see a buff last patch, increasing its barrage speed, the rate of fire at which it fires during a barrage. That was a terrible sentence, and I apologize, but I think I got my point across. So our German player's been doing a great job controlling the victory points so far. Does have all three, hasn't even lost a single victory point. Does seem to have come out ahead. Oh, he did get down that mine. I don't know why I didn't see that. So nice little mine from our British player. We saw him plant that earlier, but I doubted myself. Black half-track on the field here, as well as the Panzerjägers, mechanized Panzerjägers, call in from our German. Going to help him deal with something like a scout car from his opponent. British player foregoing the Humber armored car and instead adding on an AT gun here to deal with this flak half-track. I think that's a great choice. And actually, our British player's doing a bunch of stuff I don't normally see. So something that's becoming more normal for me to see is that our British players are adding on Bren guns a lot more often. And I think that's because we saw a nerf to the Recce package. Now, most folks agree. Nice pickup on that Bursa. Good, nice capture there. Gonna pick up this fuel, pick up that unit. That was really nice. But I think actually part of what we just saw there is the power of the Bren gun, right? It's good at all ranges, and you can definitely argue that its damage is superior to the Recce package in most cases. Now, the Recce package, of course, comes with that artillery barrage, and now that the base artillery barrage has been nerfed, we're seeing a lot more of this Bren gun. Something else unusual, though, is we are seeing the Boys anti-tank rifle. This is a lot more common in team games in my personal experience. You don't typically see Boys rifles in 1v1s because I think the DPS decrease is pretty substantial against anything other than vehicles. Now that said, there are a lot of people that would swear by them, and I know they work just fine. That's just my take, so... Royal Engineers being pushed off this fuel. British player was getting a bit aggressive there, trying to pick up space. Motorcycle still alive for our German. Not an easy thing to do. Stuart on the field for our British player. I love seeing the Stuart. It is not very common to see folks build it. And that's actually a really cool skin. Love that skin. Yeah, so Stuart, uncommon. And I'm excited to see what he gets done with it. It is going to really help him against pretty much everything his opponent has. The only AT available to his opponent is these Panzerjägers. Another mine from our British player, picking up some models there. AT gun in the area to help support this Stuart. Making it risky for our German player to dive with that 250, as we know Panzerjäger 250s are wont to do. AT gun might get a shot on the bike here. Despite that weird little angle, he can in fact see it. Stuart giving the rear armor to the world there, but nobody there to take advantage. 250 backing off. Boys rifle engaged at long range with those bursts, taking away the star, and it's actually crazy how much our German has been extremely focused on the victory points, and it shows. And I don't think he's had to give up too much to make that happen. Looks like our German may have lost another Bursa squad there. Did add on the Panzer Grenadiers. Has upgraded them with light machine guns all around. So pretty substantial losses for our German here. Of course, he's not out of it. Another Stuart on the way for our British player. So, and by the way, okay, I'm going to start by saying our British player spamming out those Stuarts, and of course he's not actually spamming, he's only built 2. This strategy is very uncommon in 1v1s, at least in my experience. I've never seen it at a high level. That said, Stuart spam in team games is absolutely a thing. For any of you that have played 3v3s and 4v4s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you roll out your Tiger, and all of a sudden there's 8 Stuarts rolling across the field at your face. So I'm curious how it's going to work out for our British player this game. Very cool to see. And M1... Excuse me. M1, what am I even talking about? There's a pack gun on the way for our German here, as well as a Panzer III. So he's going to add on a ton of anti-tank here and be able to deal with both of these Stuarts in short order. By the way, I think this is why we don't see Stuart, quote-unquote, spam in the 1v1 realm, because of how effective anti-tank options can be against them, especially when you're hitting that tech around the same time. Panzer Pioneers pushed back. Black half-track trying to hold the ground here. Panzerjägers in the area helping out. Nice mine from our German player. Gonna prevent that flank from happening. Bren gun's not quite fully in heavy cover there, so they are going to be suppressed by the flak. Here comes the Panzer III. AT gun set up, but doesn't seem to have a good angle there. Panzer Grenadiers flanking the Bren gun and is going to force him back. More boys rifles coming back to help out here. Getting a great rear hit on that Panzer III. Panzer III being very aggressive here, as is its prerogative. Smoke grenade coming out there to secure the retreat. And yeah, big push on that top side by our German here. Going to pick up the fuel point. Well, should say already has the fuel point. Picked up the victory point up there and is going to deny all those munitions on the top side by taking that cutoff point. So he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. AT gun repositioned to the middle here. Wow, big hit by the Stuart there. Taking out 2 or 3 of those Panzer Grenadiers. I guess it was only 2. Commandos in the house here. Going to do some serious work. And flak half-track's trying to help out, but the boys' rifles are going to shoo that away. Panzer III still on the scene here. And second AT gun for our British player. I think that's a pretty good decision. What just happened? Plane crash there. What was that? Was that the... I'll have to check in just a second. Infantry section here fighting with this Panzer III. Panzer III going to do just fine. We did see a Panzer Pioneer... Oh, Panzer Grenadiers went down. That's majorly unfortunate for our German player. Yeah, and you know, in the last couple minutes here, our British players really turned this game around, it feels like. Another Panzer III on the way here. So this is what starts to happen when, you know, a player focuses really hard. Oh man, don't tell me these guys are going down too. Panzer III's nowhere to be seen. This is very, very aggressive from our British player. Panzer III on the scene now. Stuarts are going to give up the position. I don't see an AT gun on the map waiting to support these Stuarts, but of course our German does not know that. So choosing not to push, and you know, that's a smart decision. As tempting as it is to run your opponent down, you do not know what's in the fog of war. So respect that decision to not chase there. Assault Grenadiers, mechanized Assault Grenadiers added on for our German here. It's really going to help out on the infantry department here. He desperately needs some more core infantry to be able to do some work. Assault Disembark from these Grenadiers. That's the passive ability from the Assault Grenadiers there, giving them huge, huge speed. Pretty decent damage resist, and of course that grenade toss was free. So making the most of that unit right there, but here come the reinforcements. And it looks like these commandos want to stop this capture from happening. Smoke grenade coming out, gonna shut that down, that's hilarious. And yeah, here come the Stuarts to also help out. Assault Grenadiers trying to hold it down as long as they can, but are going to have to give it up here. Black half-track suppressing. And British player getting aggressive. Panzer III is here to save the day. AT guns for both players in the area. But neither player taking any damage on their armor just yet. Glancing blows from those Panzer IIIs. AT gun getting a good connection. More AT guns over here, and those are some dead Panzer IIIs, I think. They did manage to take down the one AT gun. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to destroy it. Now, I think that was a call-in from the commando there. Let me see if I can find out. Yeah, I'm not sure what that strafing run was. Oh, okay, that was our German strafing run. Looks like, yeah, okay, got it. And Stuart's gonna go hunt. You know, I like these Stuarts. They're kind of just like a hit squad running around the map here. And on this map especially, it's a long stinking walk to this bottom side here. So I kind of like that he's hunting around with these Stuarts. Very cool to see. Panzer III repaired up on the top side. Very likely to see another one here. Suspect we'll be seeing, well, so our German player has two options here, I think. One is he can start saving up for something like a Tiger. Or he can continue to spam Panzer IIIs. And I guess we'll see what he ends up wanting to do here. Good hits by the German player on those Stuarts. Stuart's taking quite a beating. Stun grenade coming out from the Panzer Pioneers is going to get a connection there. But those Panzer Pioneers can't stay long. Flak half-track getting involved. Needs to be really careful. That AT gun is going to take a rear hit there. And back off. Versus squad on the bottom side, continuing to take away territory while this brawl is happening on the top side. That's absolutely what you want to be doing, right? You can have even one squad being active where your opponent is not. It is free real estate. And, you know, this game has gone in a direction that has resulted in our British players' choice to go for boys' rifles really, really stinking good. I mean, our German has managed to, our British player has managed to wipe a ton of British squads here. God, can't do it, guys. I just can't do it. Our British player has wiped a ton of German squads. He's gotten like 4. And, you know, that can happen, not judging our player for losing his squads, but what it's resulting in is our German player is heavily reliant on the vehicles that he's managed to accrue, and that has resulted in these boys' rifles you know, being effective against what our German player is dependent on. So it's kind of this cool little interaction, and ultimately it's working out for him. Our British player is calling the Stuarts off the field using the the company command post ability, right? Withdraw and refit. So now he's going to be able to call in a Matilda 2. And you'd think it's not that I needed to know the name. My brain cannot do this silhouette. I don't know what it is. Crusader 3s and Matilda 2s look exactly the same to me on this icon. So I have to hover it every time. In any case, Matilda 2 on the way. Quick personal anecdote about the Matilda 2. I think that... So I hated this tank when I first used it. I thought to myself, wow, it's so slow, it's so ineffective, bounces off all the armor, but over time I have really, really come to appreciate it. It is beefy, it's got a lot of armor, a lot of health, and it actually does really well against clumped up infantry. And so if you haven't tried the Matilda 2 and you're a Crusader, Crusader 3 or Crusader 2 all day long, I suggest you give the Matilda a try. It will surprise you. Assault Grenadiers closing with these foot guard here. I didn't talk about when he added them on, but I do like these foot guard from our British player. They are, of course, sort of all-rounders, good against a lot of different things. They are very resilient to direct fire, like from rifles or heavy machine guns, that type of damage. They are rather weak to AoE damage, though, so this flak and this Panzer III will do okay against those foot guard. Big old fight breaking out here in the middle. Matilda leading the charge here, covering all his other units there, especially driving away the half-track there. Gonna let his units get unsuppressed. Commandos closing the gap here. Not sure what exactly they're hunting, just being aggressive there, pushing his opponent back into his base. And we do see the anti-tank loiter available for our British player here. And, nice job by our German player keeping this half-track alive. It's been alive for a while now, and he's been using it to drop off those Assault Grenadiers. So very cool for him. Panzer III is going to chase away this infantry section. German tanks starting to vet up just a little bit here. Going to give them some bonuses that are very much needed. Veteran C2 is where it gets a little bit scary for a British player, of course, as is the case with most units. And looks like, you tell me, what do you think it is, guys? Tell me now, what is that tank? Let's find out together. Matilda 2, guys. I should have known. I know that they look the same, right? I guess? I don't know, dude. I can't do it. Matilda 2 in kind of a bad spot here. No AT guns around to help. At least not in a perfect spot. Now, great call-in. Anti-tank rocket loiter is going to push those units back, saving that unit. I mean, that is an expensive way to save the unit, but if the unit's alive, that's what matters. So, nice pick up there, or nice save there. Versa squad. Oh, Panzer Pioneers deep here, getting a crazy mine placement. That's going to be nice for him. Looks like he is going to prioritize the victory point over the fuel. I think that's probably a good decision at this late stage in the game. Foot guards closing with these Assault Grenadiers, and again, I do think that foot guards have an advantage over these Assault Grenadiers at that close range because they are rather resistant to the direct fire from those SMGs. Big hits from these Panzer IIIs, though. Doing okay against those foot guards. Panzer IIIs bouncing off the front there. Pack gun helping out. And yeah, that's the strength of the Matilda right there, of course. Having a ton of armor. Infantry section going to get chased away here. Panzer Pioneer still picking up more territory. Again, that's free real estate for him, being active with his units. Lovely to see. Matilda chasing slowly after these Panzer IIIs. Panzer III's repairing up here a little bit. So, you know, this has been a cool game. Both players have been investing a bit into their, I don't know what you call these buildings, but these support buildings, right? Infantry training for our British player. So that 10%, the most important thing here by a long shot, in my opinion, is the 10% harder to hit. It just, if you are losing your infantry by just a very small margin in your games, like you have just enough speed, you know, like you're pretty good at keeping them alive, but sometimes you lose them, and when you do lose them, it's really, really close. I highly, highly recommend you start investing in that 10% harder to hit bonus from that infantry research for British. You will save your units in ways that you didn't think was possible. So give it a try if you haven't already. German player, I think, also invested in his tech here a little bit. Quick check here. Yeah, self-repair. Nice, good choice there, I think. So Tilda and AT gun scuffling with these Panzer IIIs. German player a little bit trapped in the corner there. And, you know, great job by our German keeping this flak half-track alive here. It's been doing some serious work for him. Matilda moving in. AT gun supporting. Panzerjäger's there as well, so our German does have all his tools in one area, but that is a beefy little Matilda there, throwing down smoke to cover its own retreat. Black half-track trying to bail out, and British player tightening the noose here a little bit, finding his opponent in the corner. Looks like he's going to pick up the AT gun for sure. Doesn't look like he's going to get the Panzer III. They should escape around that corner, although that is a big hit. Foot guards, though, might have a chance here. Should get suppressed by the flak. Matilda continuing to advance, attacking ground through the brush there, not connecting. Black half-track hitting Vet 3 just in time to die. Oh, still alive, though. There it goes. And Matilda continuing to get good hits here. And, you know, as expected, our German is going for the Tiger tank. He's about, was that 1 minute away? Yeah, he's 1 minute away from having the Tiger. I do think what we just saw there, in part, was the lack of strong units from our German player, resulting in that crazy push by his opponent. At the same time, our British player has secured both victory points on the bottom side, and it is, in fact, his opponent that is bleeding here. Matilda looks like it wants to change that narrative there. Tiger tank in about 20 seconds here. Pairing up his Panzer IIIs. And I think we're going to see our German player push real hard into this bottom side. So, and from my perspective, this German player has two choices. You can push through the middle and kind of go for this cutoff and pick up this side here. But because the British player is all over his command point here, I think we're going to see him roll through the bottom. That looks like the anti-tank rocket loader here coming in. And, you know, it just occurred to me, our British player is floating quite a bit of command points here. But he feels like he has everything he needs, and maybe he's right. Good hits by those... Oh, man, dude. When those rocket loiters come in after you've left the Circle of Doom, it is scary. So, German player choosing to go for the top side here, perhaps recognizing his opponent is strong on the bottom side, but really, really needs to get this Tiger involved. Assault Grenadiers are going to close with these infantry section up top. Should win that fight despite the veterancy disparity. Also picking up the fuel, although I do think the fuel matters less right now. Never hurts to have it. And German repairing up there a little bit. And it does look like our British player wants to respond here. Does know about the Tiger, of course. Foot guards paving the way here. Finding his opponent in the fog of war a little bit there. But, you know, from the looks of things, our British player doesn't need to push his advantage here, right? He can sit, he can wait. He does have 2 victory points, and that's what we're seeing him do. Trolling around with these Royal Engineers here. And 17-pounder on the field for a British player. Love to see it. 17-pounder, a fantastic answer to Tigers. That said, if our British player had to worry about Stukas, I would say that 17-pounder probably isn't the best idea. But our German player is holding on by a thread here, and definitely does not have the resources to do something like that. 17-pounder is about to take its first shot after that Tiger connected with those infantry section. Does not have vision, though. Matilda's going crazy over here. Are going to get chased by these Panzer IIIs a little bit from the looks of things. Here they come. Going to get some rear shots, too. That's big. 17-pounder engaging the Tiger. Tiger focusing the 17-pounder. Matilda's trying to cover here. Good hits by the 17-pounder. Panzer III is very low on health here. Trying to take down the Matilda. Should get it here with an attack ground through the smoke. Barely missing. And Tiger, very, very low, is going to back all the way off here. Panzer III is going to find this Matilda. And wow. The support truck there. You know, I don't actually know what this thing is called. It's a little box truck. Box truck gonna bail out. Bail the 17-pounder out of there. Rocket strike coming in to try and finish off this Tiger. Might get it. And yeah. Yep. Nice pickup there. Barely catching vision of it. Some dumb guy annoyed by the state of the game. I didn't see any bugs there. Maybe a little frustrated with that rocket strike. I mean, we saw him get out of the circle in that initial engagement, and yeah, I can understand the frustration. It's tough losing your Tiger. I do think that our British player had that game in the bag, was controlling the map very well, had all the answers he needed to his opponent, and yeah, I mean, well played by both players. I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did. Please let me know if you don't like this new format. And let me know if you do like this new format. Yeah. All right. Signing off.